Orlando.
Because to type it up, it took the whole staff, and when they got through, the title weighed 60 pounds. I got him
The station Central Florida turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. News Talk AM 580 WDBO Orlando, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. She's free, but for how long? The generals who call the shots in Burma have released Nobel Peace Laureate Aung San Suu Kyi from more than 7 years house arrest. Thousands of pro-democracy supporters turned out at her compound to greet her. Suu Kyi's attorney is Jared Genser.
It will remain a tough balancing act because we shouldn't forget that Burma remains a military dictatorship, and they will reserve the ability to arbitrarily detain her at any time should they feel she crossed any lines, whatever lines they might want to make up.
Genser says Suu Kyi expects to speak publicly to supporters on Sunday. Japan, the last stop on President Obama's Asia trip.
President Obama is ending this Asia trip as he began it, salesman in chief.
And as President of the United States, I make no apologies for doing whatever I can to bring those jobs and industries to America.
His national security advisor insists this 10-day trip has succeeded in elevating U.S. engagement in Asia to a higher level. 60% of U.S. exports are purchased over here. Ann Compton, ABC News, Yokohama.
Former White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel ended months of speculation when he formally announced his candidacy for mayor of Chicago.
The question in this election, who has the experience? Who has the imagination? Who has the strength to see a better future for Chicago? And who has the determination to see that vision through to the end?
Emanuel is one of about a half dozen candidates who've either declared for the job or are about to. Sitting Mayor Richard M. Daley is not seeking re-election. Francisco Hernandez is jailed in Southern California. It's alleged he got into his car, drove onto a sidewalk, and through bushes trying to run down his girlfriend after he asked her to marry him. Gabriel Ramirez of the Los Angeles County Detectives.
The proposal was turned down. Appears that the male became really upset.
Hernandez now facing a charge of assault with a deadly weapon. You're listening to ABC News.
Now, a WDBO news update from Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A well-known high school football coach is suspended with pay, and students and parents have a lot of questions. A spokesperson with the Seminole County School District says there is an internal investigation regarding coach Mike Cullison. The school's athletic director says the suspension was over a policy issue, but he wouldn't comment any further. The Coast Guard is searching for 3 fishermen who are missing off the coast of Clearwater, Florida. Gilbert Gastineau of Orlando and 2 other men from Colorado set out yesterday morning on Gastineau's 23-foot Century fishing boat, but didn't return last night as expected. The Coast Guard is searching for the men via helicopter and boat. The state fire marshal is trying to figure out what sparked a fire at an apartment complex in Seminole County last night. The fire broke out at the Village Green Apartments off State Road 436 near the Alamont Mall. Eyewitnesses say the fire started in an apartment where 2 children were home alone. 4 units were damaged, but 20 families were forced to evacuate. 1 firefighter received minor injuries while fighting the blaze. The families of the 4 people killed in a plane crash in Melbourne came together for a candlelight vigil at FIT last night. More than 500 people were there to remember the 2 students, Jordan Agostini and Christopher Henger, Henger's brother Kyle, and flight instructor Jenny Frembling. 2 of Sharon Henger's sons died in the crash in West Palm Beach, and she says she is proud of her sons. The NTSB says its investigation could take at least 6 months. An Ocoee man is in the hospital recovering from gunshot wounds as police continue to look for the shooters. Investigators tell us the victim was approached by 3 men in the driveway of his home on Security Circle. The men demanded money, but the victim, Freddie Alonso, refused. That's when one of the men opened fire, hitting the victim twice. But his injuries are not life-threatening. For more on these stories and the important local news of the day, watch Channel 9 Eyewitness News tonight at 11. WDBO News Time 5:04. Traffic and weather are next.
When the skies turn dark, turn to News Talk AM 580 WDBO, your emergency weather station. Morning, noon, or night. We have the latest developments on severe weather in Central Florida.
So, Ted, you were saying you think you have problems with self-image.
Well, I just wish I were as great as Right Brand Bacon.
Go on.
Well, for one thing, Wright Brand bacon always smells incredible.
That's true.
And everybody always gets excited when extra thick strips of Wright Brand bacon are at a breakfast meeting or a dinner party or on a sandwich.
You wish people wanted you on their sandwich?
Maybe a little.
Interesting.
And people daydream about Wright Brand bacon. The extra thick cut, the mouth-watering, hearty taste. It just sticks in your brain until you have to have it. How can I possibly compete with that?
Ted, look at me.
Yeah?
You're not bacon.
Not yet.
Oh, boy.
Craving heartier tasting, thicker cut bacon? Then you'll love Wright Brand bacon. Wright Brand is everything you love about bacon, only bigger. Wright Brand bacon. Bigger, better bacon. Find out more at biggerbetterbacon.com.
Good afternoon. It's 5:05 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO, and it's time to check in with the 24-hour WDBO Safe Touch Security Traffic Network. Here's Paul Barnett.
I-4 is without delay in both directions. There is an accident with lane blockage on Hiawassee Road at Orange Blossom Trail. Apopka PD is on scene there, and we have report of an accident on Alafayette Trail at Waterford Lakes Parkway, and another on East Colonial Drive at State Road 408. This report's brought to you by Solantic Walk-In Urgent Care. No flu for you? Get your $30 flu shot today at any Solantic Walk-In Urgent Care centers. For locations, visit Solantic.com. Time to station with traffic every 6 minutes in the morning. I'm Paul Barnett.
Partly cloudy skies through this evening and then becoming mostly clear overnight with the low temperature dropping to 56. It will be a cool start to our early Sunday morning. By the afternoon, temperatures will warm up nicely into the upper 70s. From Severe Weather Center 9 and WDBO, I'm meteorologist Stephanie Dion.
And the latest scan of the WDBO weather radar shows no rain across Central Florida. It is 71 in Union Park and 73 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
This program was recorded earlier for broadcast at this time on News Talk AM 580 WDBO. The following hour was paid for by the host and does not reflect the opinion of AM 580 WDBO. The Pool Fanatics are on News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Brought to you each week by your host, Tony Caruso, and his company, TC Water Features. If you have questions about pool maintenance or have been thinking about adding a pool, spa area, or waterfall, you need to call now at 407-290-0058 or 800-329-5858. Now, the Pool Fanatics.
Are you ready for the Pool Fanatics? Are you ready? It's nice outside. You can jump in the pool. You can watch football. You can listen to the show at the Pool Fanatics Show at 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. Today, we're going to talk about all things pools. We're going to take your questions on pools. We're going to talk about the companies that Tony endorses. Okay, who are those companies? Who does Tony Caruso like when it comes to pumps, to motors, to people to work on your pool? Well, we got a list of them here, about 20, 25 long, so that way you know that he's bringing a team to your pool and a team that you can depend on. You know, there's a lot of companies on there. There's an awful lot of companies riding around Central Florida with a pool net and a couple of hoses and a plastic sign on their pickup truck. Well, what were they doing last week? Lawns. Now, let's get with the people who know what they're doing about pools. We're taking your calls at 800-329-5858. That's toll-free from anywhere, 407-290-0058. If you want to talk about pools, if you want to talk about water features, I mean, Tony and I were just discussing kind of a cool idea for you lakefront people. You haven't even started yet on what you can make your lakefront look like. This guy, he can put water anywhere. So we're talking about some really cool things that can happen. You've been around Orlando. You've seen some of these cool fountains that turn colors. You've seen the water turn colors. You've seen the dancing waters. That can happen. What is it you say about the backyard, Tony?
Amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Whoa.
Well, what do you think?
Well, my imagination just went crazy. Wow. I don't know about the audience,
well,
but...
think about it. You know, your backyard's a palette.
Mm-hmm.
Just be amazed.
And I would say, as I said to you when we first met, you know, if people would be honest with themselves, if you just would be honest with yourself, Mr. Homeowner, look around your home. You go nuts to make that front yard perfect. You run out and you get the Garden Rebel for the morning show, and you get my buddy Robert Vincent Sims, and you make that front yard look so beautiful because you're trying to show up your neighbors, and you want curb appeal. Your backyard doesn't have nothing out there. Maybe have a little pad, what do they call it? The pad.
There you go.
That you can put maybe 2 chairs on. And if you're like my old neighborhood back when I used to live in Eustis, a couple of clotheslines back there, why not put a pool in there, some water features, and increase your family values? Have some fun with the family. You know, I can imagine, Tony, that you build a lot of pools for people who say, you know, on a regular weekend, one kid would go this way, one kid would go that way, the other kid was headed to the lake, the other kid was headed over to the beach, one kid, we didn't know where he was, and we built this pool. All the kids are at our house now, and it is fun.
Family fun. Hey, a little shout out real quick. We had a Halloween party today for my grandkids. It's called the Caruso Halloween Party.
There you go.
My wife and I hosted about 50 children today.
Cool.
With about 25 adults. We had a carnival, had a great time. Great time. So I do not have an atypical backyard. Nothing in my backyard is typical to anybody's backyard. I'm being honest with you.
Sure.
And one of the ladies came up to me and said, why is your backyard not in Southern Homes and Garden? I said, well, probably because it doesn't really fit for Southern Homes and Garden, but I do not have an atypical backyard. And the reason I don't is because I wanted to do something that somebody else doesn't have. And that is, you know, a little bit of atmosphere. It's neat. What we did is my pool sits about 65 feet from my house. So I do have a little bit of property by saying so, but I kind of grouped it in areas. You know, I got a cabana to the right, got a patio to the left, got a fireplace in the corner. You know, we kind of set it up a little differently because everybody wants to be in one contained area. So when we do a pool that's parallel to the back of the house, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they don't have a deck for it. You know, they want to entertain, but there's no deck space. So we try to maximize and get all the thoughts out there to make this backyard look wonderful. And landscaping is key. So when you talk about that beautiful front yard, your backyard could be a knockout. Mine's a little different. My backyard is plush. It's not as nice as my front yard because guess what? I live out back. Every day I come home, 365 days a year, I promise you 300 days a year, I sit outside. Every day when I come home. So I'm outside for hours. I enjoy the backyard. I enjoy taking care of my plants. I've got 1,300 bushes I hedge. 1,300.
You're kind of like an awful lot of our population. I just came back from the Ozarks where our family has a very nice home. See, to us, the front yard is the water. The backyard is that road that comes up that you drive into and get out and walk into the house. The front yard is the lake side of the house.
Yeah. You talk about what, different types of pools, how they fit, how they work. I build pools for people that want a purpose. For instance, if you want a pool that you can, I always say you want to be on a float and kind of bounce back and forth. You want to swim some laps. You want to entertain. Do you want a play pool? Do you want a pool with all kinds of features to kind of, make the neighbors a little jealous about what's happening in your backyard? That light show's happening, the lights and the dancing water and the programs and the automation, all those things kind of clicking together allow you to create a backyard atmosphere. Like living on a lake. If you live on a lake and you're looking in your front yard, looking at your lake, you're looking at this beautiful, vast piece of property out there. It looks wonderful. We can also enhance that too.
Well,
Think about that.
I mean, there's so much we could do. And at 35, if you notice your Facebook page, you're going to notice if you're working along at home with us. If you're playing the Pool Fanatics home version on Facebook, you'll notice that at 35, we're going to talk about some neat little ideas we've got about what you can do in front of your house if you're a lake house, which is kind of neat too. But, there's just so many things people can do. And we're not talking outlandish fees here and outlandish money, but it's basically whatever they can imagine, right?
Yeah. Think about it. Water features are limited to things: imagination and budget. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm being honest with you.
Sure.
I mean, so are swimming pools. Your imagination and budget. We try to, people today are learning, that you're not getting it for, 50 cents on the dollar or 100% off of what it was last year. I mean, you're going to do that. You're just not going to get what you pay for. So, if you really think about wanting quality, it's going to cost you a few dollars more to get what you want. But at the end of the day, I assure you it'll last much longer. And the quality's there. So, yeah, your imagination, if it can run wild, we can really do it. And think about this. How do things, I'll pick on Disney for a second. How do they make things happen out there? Imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination becomes reality. if you stay with it, it's like growing up with a dream. If you stay with your dream, the dream will just progress to become a reality, but you got to stay with it. So staying with the imagination, hey, amazing things can happen in your backyard and your front yard, believe it or not. We also do water features in the front yard.
And, it doesn't really matter, I guess, when it comes to your expertise, that even if somebody says, well, I live in a small neighborhood, I live in one of the older Orlando neighborhoods where the lots weren't all that big, you still have room for a pool. You still have room for a lot of stuff back there.
We can cut that patio out and put that pool right up next to the house. Check this out, Rob. Last week while you were gone, I met a wonderful family that has a Frank Lloyd Wright home.
Oh, my Lord.
There is a pool in the backyard that is not a Frank Lloyd Wright pool, but it's 35 years old. And they want me to... and we've already designed it, and they love what we've done, convert the backyard into a Frank Lloyd Wright pool area. Well, think about that. He is very unique in what he did. So if you think about falling water up in Pennsylvania, we started with that look, and we're going to end up with that look, believe it or not. So she is wonderfully happy. She is pleased. We did it, believe it or not, first presentation, full-blown color. With all the color selections and all that. We're working with about 4,400 square feet in the backyard. So we're going to build a cabana that's going to have a stream going around it, the pools, the waterfalls, some conversation areas, a little bit of cut rock here, a little bit of cement here, just a very geo-looking home. But we hit it right on the first shot. So something we're going to start in the first of the year, gutting this backyard. We'll spend probably about 5 or 6 months putting it back together. But you know what? If you think about taking the architectural design and making it reality, that's another thing. See, I have the luxury of working with just not my team of people, but I work with some wonderful landscape architects.
So the pool can actually be designed to fit the architecture of the home.
We do it all the time.
The neighborhood.
We do it all the time. Sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sure.
All right, let's go to Lou in Orlando. He's got a very important question for the man who's got the answers. That's right. He's our own Tony Caruso, Orlando Luxury Pools and TC Water Features. Lou in Orlando, sorry to keep you waiting. What's your call about?
Hey, how you doing? I got my pool pump when it kicks on. The motor, the pool pump motor, it makes like a squealing sound when it first kicks in. But after it starts running for, maybe a minute, not even, it'll stop making that noise. So I don't know if the motor's going on or what. It's been doing it for quite a while.
Lou, I got your answer. You got a bearing problem.
A bearing problem?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Years ago, it was cost effective to take a motor down and have it rebuilt, put bearings in it. But today it's really not, and I really like to tell you that there's some great technology out there that's going to allow you to save some money in the process. All right, do you have a swimming pool only, or are you pool spa, or just a pool only?
No, just a pool.
And how big is your pool there, Lou?
Excuse me?
How big is how many gallons does your pool hold?
Oh shoot, it's you got me on that one.
Okay.
It's about 30 feet long and. About, I guess, 12 wide or something.
Okay,
like
somewhere
that.
around the 12 to 15,000 gallons of water. If you have a pump, if you consider changing your pump out, please consider not installing a pump greater than a half horsepower. Do you have solar by any chance? Or any solar on your roof?
No.
All right.
No.
If you put in a pump greater than a half horsepower, you're wasting some good money. So
that's what's in there right now. That's what's on there right now. A half horse. Yeah.
There you go. If you got a half horse on your pool pump, you are better than 90% of the other people out there that have the incorrect pump on your pool. So consider changing out that motor and keep it to a half horse, and you got a bearing issue. All it's going to do is get worse. Now it's going to clean up a little bit, but it's going to eventually squeal and really upset your neighbors.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And, of course, what kind of pool pumps do you suggest there, Tony?
Well, I only want to go with a Hayward, man. I mean,
there you go.
Hayward A.O. Smith is their motor of choice, and it's a decent motor. I mean, we stick with it. You should get many, many years out of the motor itself, and good luck putting it in, Lou.
All right, real good. But you will put it in for somebody who needs it, right?
We'll put it in.
mean, come on.
We'll put it in. Give us a call on Monday. We'll set it up, and we'll come out and put it in for you.
I have a toolbox at home, but it's only there just, So I got this girlfriend. I can say, look, I got a toolbox.
There you go.
That's pretty much it. I don't use it.
A motor change-out's about 45 minutes. It's not a big deal. It's just generally 4 bolts, a motor seal. We do it complete. Now, a lot of people will go out there and just put a motor in. We put the motor, a seal plate gasket, diffuser gasket, and the O-ring in. I mean, we do all that only because if you change out the two components and forget that an O-ring goes bad, guess what? You're back out there for another service call. So if we're about $10 or $15 more, it's because we're putting in a few more pieces of, we'll call it rubber for today. And that is the pieces that it's going to take to make this last. So we do it right. So it's about a 45-minute change out.
Good deal. I use Nick, the producer, to come out there and trim around my lawn. Not with a trimmer, with a pair of scissors.
There you go.
Oh, sure
don't you call that a manicure?
That's it. Just right. You know. Nick, you missed a place over there. You come back here. 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. Our apologies for him being on the air last week. And we'll be back on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
In Clark, we trust.
Well, if we were serious about energy independence, we could do that stuff now, but we're not yet serious about it as a country. The reality is that we have to consider the addiction that we have to oil, and do we want to remain addicted to it? So far, Americans have said, yes, we do.
Clark Howard, the ultimate fiscal conservative. Weekdays 1 to 3, only on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
The fun just got better at Colonial Photo and Hobby.
November is here, so make sure you capture the holiday moments that matter with help from Colonial Photo and Hobby. Nikon and Colonial Photo and Hobby have teamed up to bring you some terrific holiday deals on Nikon Coolpix cameras as low as $79. Incredible deals you'll find only at Colonial Photo and Hobby. Want more? Save up to $400 instantly on choice Nikon lenses when purchased with select Nikon cameras. Come to Colonial Photo and Hobby for all the holiday savings on Nikon Coolpix and Nikon digital single lens reflex kits. Colonial Photo and Hobby is located just south of Colonial Drive on 1792 Mills Avenue. Call 800 or 407-841-1485 for details. And don't forget, repairs, sensor cleanings, and custom picture framing, we do that too.
The fun just got better at Colonial Photo and Hobby.
Windermere, $230,000, sold in 28 days. Altamont, $270,000, sold in 38 days. Kissimmee short sale, $179,000, sold in 30 days. Stony Brook, $150,000, listed before, sold by the Loveland team. Dr. Phillips, $550,000, sold by the Loveland team. Hi, this is Cleve Loveland of Loveland Properties, home of the 6-week guaranteed sale. No matter what the price, from Metro West to Maitland, Castleberry to Kissimmee, we can sell your home in 6 weeks or less. Loveland Properties has a proactive marketing plan to price your home right, stage it right, and get it sold in 6 weeks or less. In a declining market, the longer you're on the market, the more money you lose. Call Loveland Properties right now at 407-352-8118 about our 6-week guaranteed sale. While other firms are closing their doors, the Loveland team is hiring. So call 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118. And join me every Saturday at noon on the Loveland Report here on WDBO as we answer all your questions about real estate and mortgages.
Picture a high-performance home theater sound system with all the speakers and equipment. Now, imagine it all within a high-definition video screen, presenting the innovative new Bose Video Wave Entertainment System. Immersive sound, a vivid display, and no speakers to wire. You simply have to experience it to believe it's even possible. Only at a Bose store. Visit the Bose store at Waterford Lakes Town Center and Orlando Premium Outlets International Drive, or find locations at bose.com.
WDBO has your ticket to get red hot for the holidays at Central Florida's premier holiday event, the Festival of Trees, now going on through November 21st. The Orlando Museum of Art is transformed into a winter wonderland of Christmas trees and holiday vignettes. Stroll through the amazing Gingerbread Village and stop into Toyland Town, where kids can play games, do holiday crafts, and visit with Santa. You'll find beautiful decorations for your home and landscape in the Deck the Halls Boutique and Holiday Garden. And all your holiday shopping at the Festival of Trees is for a good cause. Items for sale benefit the Orlando Museum of Art and the arts in our community. Get complete details at WDBO.com and get ready to get fired up for Christmas with the Red Hot for the Holidays Festival of Trees at the Orlando Museum of Art with News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
This program was recorded earlier for broadcast at this time on News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Standing up for what's right. Neil Bortz at 9, Clark Howard at 1, and Sean Hannity at 3. Only on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
Welcome back. Yes, it is. We are Pool Fanatics at 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. You know, one of the greatest things you can do is enhance the quality of your home and enhance your lifestyle, enhance your family, and, you know, just become more of taking your home and making that a gathering place instead of just a place where you eat and sleep. It can become a real lifestyle area, and that's what Tony Caruso does with Orlando Luxury Pools and TC Water Features. And again, we talk about everything that you can do to your pool. We always get questions about cleaning the pool and the pumps and all that sort of thing. But a perfect example by the gentleman who called in, Tony, and he said that his pump or something's making noise. Well, eventually they're all going to get replaced anyway, but now is a very efficient way to replace them, right?
Yeah. Again, you know, and stuff that we put on Facebook and Twitter. I don't do that, of course. My future daughter-in-law is doing that for me because, you know,
good job.
I'm getting up over the hill a little bit, so it's easier for the younger folk to kind of take technology and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can type a lot quicker than I can.
Sure.
So I'm not the hunt and pet kind of guy, and I can do fairly well, but I leave that to her to do. So she does a good job. But, you know, 90% of all the pool pumps on the market today are too large. After 2006, or before 2006. So think about that, Rob. I went out another day, I think I told you, maybe it was about a month or so ago, 5,400 watts this guy was popping an hour. 5,400. That's 54 100-watt light bulbs burning every hour for, believe this or not, he wasn't doing 8 hours a day. He was doing 10 hours a day.
God, would I hate his power bill.
Yeah, about $300 a month. You know what? We could do all of that on one pump because he had a pool spot on a negative edge or zero edge. And could do all that on one pump, believe it or not. And he was burning energy. And energy, if you don't mind paying the power company to do this, then continue to do this. But in December of 2011, you won't be doing this, by the way. You're going to do what the new energy law does, and that's going to require you to do. It's going to require you to do on your primary filter pump, which would be the pump that has a filter attached to it. Any pump 1 horsepower or greater shall be 2-speed. With a default speed less than half the whole speed. So basically, if it's a 1 horse, the default speed is going to be about 3/8 of a horse. Mm-hmm. It can't be half the whole speed. So you're going to see a lot of technology coming out. Right now, you currently have a single speed timer. That makes no sense to you because this means you flip the timer on, it runs, the timer goes off.
Yeah.
There'll be 2-speed timers out there. You're going to have a timer that's going to have a low speed and a high speed on it. And they're already out now. I'm getting flooded with emails and faxes that are telling me, hey, it's out there. It's been out there. It's just that now we're having to move forward. Another thing that's coming up, you know, in the commercial end, you know, we have a new ADA compliant law. I believe there's 36,000 swimming pools, commercial pools in the state of Florida are going to be required to have a hydraulic lift to bring you out of the pool. You believe that?
Huh?
Yeah, we just now see the federal government's now getting involved in my industry as well as Consumer Safety Product Council, which also monitors the things that happen in our industry as well, and everything in cribs and toys. But every commercial pool by I think it's July of 2012 will have to have a hydraulic chairlift put in it.
Now,
yeah,
when you say commercial pool,
yeah, hotel, motel, apartment complexes. Yeah, anything that deals with the public.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got there's a lot of laws coming.
But what about homeowners associations? Will they have to put that in the residential pool of the neighborhood?
Not in a residential neighborhood. It's just for commercial usage, like a community pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
So, you know, it's just one more thing we have to deal with. They're making pools safer. I mean, all commercial pools, I think, as the middle of next year, will no longer be on direct suction. All pool spas, wading pools will be on gravity feed. So it's just basically slowing the water down and not ever having an issue with entrapment, ever, ever, ever. So we do realize that swimming pools are safe. There has never been an entrapment in a single drain pool with a cover in place. That's a big word, isn't it? With the cover in place. Remember, there's 10 million swimming pools in the United States, so there's not one documentation of anybody ever being entrapped in a single drain pool with the cover in place.
Telephone numbers and websites.
407-282-4911. That's 407-282-4911, or visit us at OrlandoLuxuryPools.com.
All right, we have so much to talk about and so much to do in the next half hour. No reason why you can't have the radio on and watch football and call You're multitaskers out there. Call and find out about your pool. And hey, it's not too late to talk this next half hour about heating your pool. All of a sudden, it's going to start turning cool now, huh? Well, we said that a few weeks ago, then it got hot again. But I think now we're getting on the cusp of a little bit of fall weather. And you can find out that it's not too late for old Tony to come out there and make it a warm, snuggly old pool year-round, not to mention a romantic hot tub. 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. What goes on in the hot tub stays in the hot tub. We're Pool Fanatics on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
This is Jim Turner. Coming up Monday on Central Florida's Morning News, all the top local and national stories.
They want us to extend the tax cuts, and they also want to make sure that we repeal health care.
Will you be paying higher taxes in January?
My hope is that somewhere in between there we can find some sort of solution.
Lawmakers are facing some tough decisions. At 7:10, Washington Bureau Chief Jamie Dupree breaks it all down for us. Plus, traffic and the weather forecast every 6 minutes, Monday morning, 5 to 9 on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
The station Central Florida turns to first for live team coverage of breaking news. News Talk AM 580 WDBO Orlando, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
One reason, not the only one, but one reason, according to what one retail analyst tells ABC News for such an early push for holiday season sales, is the fact that Hanukkah begins early this year, December 1st. President Obama is about an hour or so away from most closed-door talks with Japanese leaders in Yokohama. ABC News White House correspondent Ann Compton is there.
The ancient strains of kabuki theater music filled the summit hall as leaders sat down for their annual dinner. Japanese performers in colorful makeup and costumes jumping around the stage brought some energy to what has been a sedate summit. There are no major announcements expected from these Pacific Rim partners.
New this hour, a diplomatic source tells Reuters the Israeli prime minister has presented a proposal from the U.S. to the Israeli cabinet on Mideast peace talks. So far, the government auction of Bernie Madoff belongings in New York City still going on. The highest price paid has been $550,000 for a 10.5-carat diamond engagement ring. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
This is Scott Inez. The Magic take on the Nets in Jersey tonight. Game time is 7 o'clock. I'll have WDBO Coors Light Inside Magic live from NBA City beginning at 6 on the home of the Magic, WDBO.
Somebody's gotta say it.
These people will not control their spending.
That's why Neil Bortz is on the radio.
Just look at the deficit plan, $787 billion. The Forest Service is replacing windows at a visitor center. The visitor center has been closed since 2007. $500,000. Interactive dance software, $760,000. A connector between professional sports stadiums and a casino, $62 million. Totally and completely passed with Democrat votes. And the deficit keeps growing. And the debt keeps growing. And these fascist creeps in Washington, D.C. keep telling you, we can't cut spending. There's no room in the budget to cut spending. We need more money. We need to raise taxes. I'm so irritated and I'm so upset and I'm so through with this crap.
The right place for conservative talk. Neil Bortz. Weekdays 9 to 1 on News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Depend on it.
Good afternoon, it's 5:32 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO, and it's time to check in with a 24-hour WDBO Safe Touch Security Traffic Network. Here's Paul Barnett.
I-4 is moving well in both directions. There is an accident in the final stages on Hiwassee Road at Orange Blossom Trail. Apopka PD's on scene there, and we have a report of an accident on Alafaya Trail at Waterford Lakes Parkway. This report's brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue. Sonny's Barbecue joined March of Dimes in helping babies be born healthy on November 17th, Prematurity Awareness Day. A portion of sales will go to March of Dimes. Join Sonny's that day. On the station with traffic every 6 minutes in the morning, I'm Paul Burnett.
Partly cloudy skies through this evening and then becoming mostly clear overnight with the low temperature dropping to 56. It will be a cool start to our early Sunday morning. By the afternoon, temperatures will warm up nicely into the upper 70s. From Severe Weather Center 9 and WDBO, I'm meteorologist Stephanie Dion.
And the latest scan of the WDBO weather radar shows no rain across Central Florida. It is 71 at the UCF campus and 70 here at News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
When it matters most, remember News Talk AM 580 WDBO, Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Welcome back. We are the Pool Fanatics, and of course, the biggest pool fanatic of them all is Tony Caruso, the owner of Orlando Luxury Pools by TC Water Features. And when you look around Orlando and Central Florida and you see these outstanding swimming pools, you see these beautiful fountains, and Tony's probably had a hand in it somewhere along the line. And we can talk about some really cool things that he has designed for people. We also wanted to talk about some of the things you can do just with water, because water features is a big part of what Tony does. So let's say that you got a lakefront place, and we were kicking around an idea a few minutes ago, and I said to Tony, people got waterfront. I've got an awful lot of waterfront in Missouri, and I'm thinking we better take a road trip. But we got all this shoreline out in front of our house. We got this dock sitting out there, and it's just sit there all still, and I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool? You know, if Tony was here about 5 minutes, an hour from now, we'd have water shooting over the dock. We'd have different colors of water. We'd maybe have a fountain like you see in some of these nice lakes and ponds around Orlando, you know, with the water spraying up at night, maybe turning colors.
We can do it.
And I'm thinking, those of you that live on the lake, why haven't you ever done this?
Well, Rob, what we've
How
done...
cool is that?
It's cool. Think about this. About, Metro West on Kirkman Road.
Yeah.
Those two big fountains, that's a liner, by the way. That's a liner. It's man-made. They dug those. It's a liner. We did those water features, I think, in 89.
So that's floating, the little ring that sprays the water out.
Those particular ones aren't, and here's why those aren't, is because that's a fixed water level.
Oh, so okay.
That stays fixed.
Yeah.
So there's we actually build what's called concrete bollards. They're big, huge concrete structures that have fixed platforms that have fountain nozzles on top.
Let's say that you're north of here on the Chain of Lakes or on the Butler Chain of Lakes. All those rich people out on the Butler Chain of Lakes, I just gave you all an idea how you can spend more of your money out there.
There you go.
You can be the first on the Butler Chain, you know, to be the neighbor of all those rich and cool people out there that we love you as neighbors, man. That's so cool. But it would be so neat if you would enhance your waterfront and had a fountain out there by your dock.
Think about that. What we did Vistana Resorts, by the way, on 535. Well, they did some man-made ponds between all of those timeshares, and we did floaters out there. One of the first is probably 82, 83, maybe 84, where we did floating ponds. There's a bunch of them we did. Every time it niched in, niched out, we put a floating feature in.
So it's a self-contained unit of the light and the water spraying up. And the pump is somewhere underwater on a platform or somehow hooked up to it somehow?
Hey, that's technology, Rob.
Yeah,
now
I
you
don't know how
get
it's
now
done.
you want to come to work for us, we'll hook you up.
I was going to say, I can't know the secrets, but we all can imagine.
But the answer is yes. All stainless steel hardware. It's got screening in them. They have backwashes in them. It's all self-contained. All we have to do is tether them. We have to tether them somehow.
Sure.
So if we could tether between maybe a seawall and a dock, or we put some anchor points in, all we have is a power feed leading from the fountain up into a power supply, put it on a panel, wire it, time clock, whatever you want to do, automate it. Think about that. We do some Hayward automation on it.
And you put a little GFI on there, right? Because you got to have your GFI.
You got to have your GFI. I'm not sure how that's going to pertain to fountains because, you know, we're going to, in 2011, actually in 2008, to NEC, National Electric Code, we're going to have to put a GFCI breaker on every pool pump installed. Think about that. Yeah, it's about $130. We're not going to get away from it. It was a concession that we had to do in order to keep you from having to spend another $800 on a bonding grid around your pool. Yeah, don't you hate it, concessions? We're all going to go out and vote next Tuesday, so please vote no on Amendment 4, please, so we can all stay busy this year. So that's my political talk this year. Vote a no on Amendment 4, please. It's a bad deal. Yeah. So anyhow, moving forward, we do that, Rob. We do floating fountains.
Cool is that?
And they're
but
around.
You know, we have grown up seeing those in towns. We've seen them in public parks. But I haven't seen everything because I haven't been over with the high rollers in Alworth lately. But I live on a chain of lakes up there. You know, you got Griffin, Harris, Eustis, Dora. Now, Mount Dora, you got some money. I don't see anybody with a fountain out by their dock.
No, you don't.
Now, how cool would that be?
That'd be really cool because they allow you. And I guess what it would be is, Rob, we'll kind of hold this little secret to ourselves a little bit. We'll investigate some EPA issues and go and talk to South Florida and St. John's and see if they have any issues with it. I don't think there's any issues.
All we're doing is spraying water.
Well, here, the cool thing about that is you're enhancing the quality of that water, by the way.
We're oxygenating.
We're aerating.
Well, we
want to aerate now. Say, I'm sorry, oxygenation is great, but aeration is even wonderful.
Aeration's better?
Yeah, aeration, because now what we can do is we can put all kinds of different nozzles on there. If we wanted to do a floater self-contained in a location, I could put a cascade that'll shoot 100 feet in the air if you wanted to. Or we could put in a 3-tier or a 4-tier. We can do fountain heads that'll shoot at 50 feet in the air and 50-foot spread, or anything there smaller. Or we can shoot water over your dock. We can shoot water back over your dock. We can shoot water from your land into the water. There's tons of things you can do. We can light it, not lit, daytime view. If you had a roof on your boathouse, I could put a rainfall up in there and make it rain. If we had the water coming down hard enough, at night we can project images onto that water and have a little show. We might even be able to watch a movie. Think about that. That's how cool water is. The technology is out there. So it's thinking out of the box, working with quality people that think out of the box, like the Imagineers. Imagination. Amazing things can happen in your backyard. So think about that lakefront, too. It's in your backyard.
Lakefront division of TC Water Features. I can see it coming. I might have a new career here.
There you go.
I'd be the Ozark head guy in that. We'd still be doing Orlando stuff here. All right, anyway, let's go to AC in OV, or La Vista. What do you got going on out there, AC? I don't quite understand what's written on the note here.
After I listened to you guys, I just started talking. All I wanted was above the ground pool. That's it.
Why do you want an above the ground?
Because it was a small lot. No. We used to have an above the ground pool, right? We have a drain field, right, that runs through there.
Right.
We're on septic tank, and my plumber says every time he goes out for a plumbing problem, if people had a pool in the backyard with a drain field, that it affects the drain field. Is that true?
Depends on where the drain field is in relationship to the swimming pool. That's a good thought. Now, think about this. When someone tells you that comment, now there's a lot of new rules, so we can talk about that for a second. But think about this. Where's your drain field in relationship to your pool? In today's society, hang on a second. In today's market the health department's got totally involved in where the pool can be in relationship to the tank.
Yeah.
And to the drain field. But it's always been there, by the way. It's also relevant to where the water line to your home is in relationship to your septic tank and your drain field. But, AC, I don't know where the septic or drain field is. Yes, it is an issue. It is totally an issue. I don't see it being an issue with a vinyl liner pool other than the fact that the liner is going to keep any intrusion out. But if the liner fails, and then it brings the intrusion back in, so that's the only drawback to an above ground liner pool. You can put a smallest pool in the world in any backyard that you can put a vinyl liner pool in. I promise you.
Well, what he was telling me that the sun takes more moisture out of the pool than the drain field, the drain field itself.
Well, that's Mother Nature. That's evaporation. You're going to sit here, and Mother Nature is going to dictate if the relative humidity is 90% outside. It's doing a whole lot more air saturation than it's 40 outside. If the relative humidity is 40% outside, think about this. I always bring this question up or comment. I looked outside my pool steaming. Well, check this out. If it's 55 degrees outside and your pool's 80, guess what it's doing in the morning?
Yeah.
It's steaming off. That is heat rising. That's creating moisture to the air. So guess what? Your pool will promise you it's evaporating. It's exactly what it's doing. So when you're driving down the road and you see a lake or a pond steaming, guess what? It's moisturing off. It's evaporating. That's just Mother Nature, that if we're not fortunate to have 10 million pools in this country indoors, so we're susceptible to evaporation. There's nothing you or I can do, whether it's in ground, above ground, on ground, or in your home. You are going to lose water in your pool. No matter what happens, it's going to happen.
So my question is, how far away from the drain field or the drain field itself should a pool be?
The new rules, I believe, state 35 feet from the drain field to your pool, and that has to be permitted. I'm not sure how that's going to involve you on your liner pool, but an in-ground pool now goes to the health department, another bureaucracy move that we have to go through before we actually get a permit. So please call the building department before you put that liner pool up if you have a drain field and see if you have any issues with it.
All right, great. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
All right, you have an awesome show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Thanks
sort
for
of
listening.
sort of a related issue. I've got a friend that lives up in Lake County, and he recently got a notice from the state that somebody passed some new regulation that all septic tanks in Florida are now going to be inspected yearly.
Absolutely. You're
at a cost of what, I forget how much.
And that's another thing. And it's another revenue generator. There's a big issue. Not trying to get off the track about pools, but on the east side of town here in Orlando, they're doing the same thing. And you know what people are going to tell you? They got to move out. They can't afford to pay to have the tanks brought up to standards. But you know what? That's bureaucracy doing what it's doing. So we are governed by the Florida Building Code. We follow the building code, and we adhere to it. So, you know, the luxury of me sitting on the two state panels is kind of, I get a little voice in this, by the way. You know, I'm a consumer. Think about this. Believe it or not, folks, even though I build swimming pools, I am still a consumer when I go home. So I don't want to pay any more than I have to, and I have issues with bureaucracy. That's why I'm on the panels, to work for the consumer. I'm doing everything I can to stop the bureaucracy from making us do things that we don't need to do. Prove things need to be changed, and we'll make changes. Remember, swimming pools are very safe. Swimming pools are as safe as we could possibly make those. It's people that don't make them safe.
There you go. Now, you were talking during the break, and this is what you can do, folks, with imagination. And it's all there. All you need to do is get your priorities straight. You want that 38-foot boat that's going to cost you slip rental and gas and all that? Or do you want to put a pool in your backyard and the water features and all the cool stuff and entertain right there at home and be the house for your company and for all of your circle of friends? And you want to be the place where everybody wants to be. Now, how cool is that? And your kids actually want to stay home. How about that? All right, here's the deal. A guy goes to Tony. And he was a football fan? Tell us this story and what you're doing for the guy.
Check this guy. This guy comes into my office about 3 weeks ago, and he says, you know what, I'm a football guy, so all you Gator fans out there, UCF Knight fans out there watching the football games, you can do what I'm going to suggest to you if you have a swimming pool. He asked me to design a pool so he could bring all his football buddies over and watch the game in the pool. Well, I said, how about a spa? He said, okay, give me a spa too. So what we did was, check it out. We designed a pool and spa that would abut to the cabana. So what we did is, instead of having the spa, jets, and bench face the pool, we spun them around to face the cabana. Check it out, Rob. We also put a sun shelf up on that end, wrapped it around the spa, so you can put all the little mini chairs in there and be undercover and watch the football games. Let's go basketball and go Magic games, so we can do all that. All the sporting events are outside. Think about that. Your pool area is limited to the imagination. What do you want it to do for you? It's not, and we don't duplicate swimming pools, by the way. We don't mass produce them. We don't duplicate them. We want every pool to be different. So this one's pretty neat, you know. We've built indoor pools, outdoor pools. We built pools that butted up to the house. So think about that. What do you want? What's the pool going to do for you? So thinking outside the box. Spa turns around the other way, sitting there.
So, again, you know, the guy came to you. You know, I just want to bring this down to table conversation. The guy comes to you. You didn't pull out some 3-fold brochure that says you got the 60 by 30, you got the 20 by 10, and you got the 100 by 40.
We had a few limits. Right. Well, we didn't.
That's all you got.
We didn't, and we worked with the pallet he had. His pallet was long and narrow. Long and narrow. So it had an overhead power line, so it even had more restrictions in that. I have to be 10 feet from the water, from a overhead power line, also to a screen enclosure, depending on which municipality you're in. So we had a long and narrow application. So, you know, by the time it was all done, it flows. Think about it, flows. Water flows. It flows. So we're going to put in all the spas that we build. We put adjustable jets in, too. So Mama doesn't want a hard-blowing jet, but Daddy does. You know, we can raise them up and turn them down. So all the jets we install and all the spas we do are adjustable, not the one that just sits there and blows it out. Yeah, we could put the whirlybirds in there, the pulsators in there, the turn up the pressure, turn them down, all kinds of cool stuff. It's just really, what do you want? You know, so we really, really, really think out of the box when it comes to swimming pools. And by doing that, you can create your own atmosphere. So think about this. amazing things can happen in your backyard.
There you go. Don't forget, we're 10 minutes away from news, weather, and traffic. That and much, much more coming up. Plus, we're going to talk more pools on the Pool Fanatics right here on News Talk AM 580 WDBO.
In this city, conservatism is heard.
Conservatism is the answer to their political problems.
News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Depend on it.
If you are experiencing high credit card debt and potential foreclosure, or have lost your job and are running out of ways to pay your monthly bills, you're probably wondering what to do next. We know bankruptcy isn't your first choice, but it may be the best choice. I'm Justin Clark of Gregory & Clark, Attorneys at Law, and you're not alone. As you know by now, our attorneys focus on short sales, loan modifications, and foreclosure defense. But sometimes it's time for a fresh start. Call Gregory & Clark now, and we'll help you decide your best option. 321-282-1055, or visit gregory-clark.com. You don't have to go it alone. At Gregory & Clark, we are local, Central Florida real estate attorneys dedicated to helping you save your way of life. Remember, it might not be as bad as you think. Call Gregory & Clark at 321-282-1055 or on the web at gregory-clark.com. Know your rights. Gregory & Clark, Attorneys at Law, Offices, Longwood.
The best part of any Florida home is the pool. Now imagine a complete pool and spa package, fully screened, dig to swim in only 6 weeks from only $22,000. Holland Pools can make it happen. Hi, Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate. Founded in 1995 by Mike and Gloria Holland, Holland Pools is Central Florida's #1 pool company and among the top 50 pool companies in the nation. A pool can be one of the best investments you can make in your home right now, and the pros at Holland Pools will do a free in-home consultation, including a custom 3D design process. Get a pool in your fenced yard from $18,000, or a pool with a screen enclosure from $21,000. And yes, financing is available. And right now, get a free brick paver upgrade and an LED pool light. Call Holland Pools at 407-830-5327. That's 407-830-5327 for Holland Pools, Central Florida's #1 pool builder since 1995. Join me along with Holland Pools every Saturday at noon here on WDBO.
Business banking just got easier with cash management banking from Centennial Bank. Use your office PC to make a deposit, transfer funds, generate payroll, plus bank after regular banking hours or on weekends, and you may even get faster access to your funds. Find out more at one of Centennial Bank's 6 Central Florida locations. Call 888-372-9788 or visit my100bank.com. Business banking that really is better from one of the strongest community banks in America, Centennial Bank. Member FDIC.
There's a powerful force out there to help you fight rising energy bills. A man who finds efficiency wherever he looks. A go-to guy for keeping more of your money in your pocket. Save the Watts Guy from Progress Energy.
Hi there.
Witness the incredible skill of Save the Watts Guy as he expertly locates areas to help you save throughout your home.
Let's do it, Jim. That is a leaky air duct, Jim. Setting your water temperature too high? Wasteful. But singing in the shower? Awesome! Ooh, sounds like someone needs to replace that inefficient light bulb with a CFL. And that, Jim, is the sound of all the money folks can save if they follow my energy-saving tips.
Start saving more energy in your home today. Sign up for a free home energy check and get more savings tips from Save the Watts Guy.
That's me.
At SaveTheWatts.com from Progress Energy. Because it's your wallet, it's your world. Save the Watts.
The Garden Rebel here, Robert Vincent Sims for Sims Landscape. You know, one of the things that we see in landscaping all of the time is that there's a lot of clutter. Sometimes if you were to really take the time to stand back at the sidewalk and really look at your house, and I mean really look at it, you might not like what you see. You'll see overgrown plants. You'll see that the rhythm over the years has changed. The balance is no longer attractive. Windows are being covered up. It's making the house look smaller. And a lot of times, frankly, a lot of homeowners are making the wrong choices with plants. Now, that's where a professional comes in. We know the xeriscape plants that will tolerate low water. The restrictions won't get any easier. We know the cold-tolerant plants. We know how to group them with the best varieties for the lowest maintenance. Call us at Sims Landscape, 352-383-3303.
Orlando's news, News radio station. News Talk AM 580 WDBO. Central Florida's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Welcome back. You know, you too are a pool fanatic. You just really don't know it yet, but you really are. 800-329-5858 or 407-290-0058. One of the cool things about TC Water Features is Tony Caruso and his whole family. And the thing is that we talk about from week to week, and this is so important. When you talk to a lot of people who've had pools in Central Florida, they talk about a nightmare, and it's not a nightmare when you go to Tony. I mean, it gets done, and you take such pride in it, and you probably I bet Tony gets invited to more pool parties than anybody in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. I mean, you know, more than the red carpet people. You know, this guy, he builds the pools for the people. He makes their dreams come true. What's wrong with that? But I've heard so many stories, Tony, and I imagine you have. You're on the state boards. You know, hey, this truck came in. They put this hole in the yard. They drove past the neighbor's yard and tore up their lawn, and I haven't seen anybody in 3 weeks.
Rob, we have a nickname. We're called the Village Pump Crew. You know why?
Why?
We've been bailing people out for almost 25 years. We do probably about 10 or 15 a year, where people have gone in, and it's unfortunate. I really can't tell you, if you don't do the research, especially in today's market, you have all the information you could possibly want. If someone gives you a name of a company, a person who is a qualifier, a phone number, and you can do tons of research about that company and figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do your research, and I always tell people, look, if you go to my website, there's a link that'll take you to the state of Florida. You can check my license out or anybody else's license out to see if they're legit. They have been a good contractor. They've been fined, reprimanded, suspended, revoked, whatever there may be. It talks about what the qualifications they have on their license. So please, the information is free. Do your research. Please, it's free. So I want to give a nice shout out. We have picked up a new partner this week.
Who we got?
We got up to 24 sponsors now. Oh, we really want to go there. Atlantic Service and Supply is our solar-powered pool pumps. So those of you, think about that. For those of you who just flat out want to get off the power grid and only have a swimming pool only and do not heat it, we have solar-powered pool pumps out. So think about this. This solar-powered pool pump is just a small step forward to where this industry is going. We're going off the grid. We're going off the grid. I'd say within 8 years, swimming pools will be off the grid. Number 2 user of energy in the Southern Belt is a swimming pool pump. Number 2. So AC, which we all got to have.
Yeah.
If we got a pool, we got to have a pump. So why not be one of the 90% who get off the program and get onto the proper pump technology, and let's get off the grid.
Man, that's cool. All right, 2 minutes to spend with Philip from Orlando. What's your question? Real quick.
I just want to find out what's the smallest pool you can actually put in, because I heard you talking with the other guy, and my buddy's looking. He was thinking he was going to put an above-ground pool, but if I can get him to put the in-ground pool, that would be better.
Well, Philip, we can do anything. We can do everything from a spool. That's a spa in a pool. That could be whatever you want it to be. We do spas. Let's say we do a pool that's 3 or 4 feet deep. I've done that. The smallest pool I've ever built, believe it or not, is 5 by 10. 5 by 10. You can jump across that. But
now, does that have a flowing water?
I'm sorry, Philip?
I'm sorry. I said that would be great if you could do that.
Have them call my office, 407-282-4911. I'm in about 6:15 every morning, so that's 407-282-4911. Appreciate your call. Give us a call.
And what's the website while we're on there?
OrlandoLuxuryPools.com. That's OrlandoLuxuryPools.com, where amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Now, when you're talking about a 10 by 15 or whatever.
5 by 10.
5 by 10.
Yeah.
Is that one of those that has the flowing water so it acts like you're swimming?
That's a swim spa.
Oh, okay.
So we do swim jets too, which is those high-powered jets. We could do a pool, a 5 by 10 or a 5 by whatever it may be, any kind of depth you want to do. We put a swim jet in there, strap yourself in, and turn the pump on and hold on.
Really?
Yes, sir. We do them all the time. Called swim trainers, or fast lanes, or swim jets, Bazoo jets. Tons of cool stuff out there that if you don't have the room but you want the exercise, strap on and hang on, because those things have 3, 4, 5 horsepower pumps in them. Will flat out make you get some exercise.
That's a really neat deal.
It's a great deal. Company out of Georgia we use called Fastlane, or Fastlane is what we use. Endless Pools.
About a minute and a half. Do they still have time to call you at the office tomorrow? What's the number to see if you can come out and put some heat in their pool?
Absolutely.
Good job.
Call me. I'll heat your pool up. Why are you going to have a pool? It's like the boat Rob talks about. You got the boat, you put it up for 3 or 4 months too cold. Why treat your pool that way? Let's put some heat in there. And let's talk about, we don't have to always use the blue bubble cover to cover your pool to keep that heat in. Remember, if you don't protect the heat in your pool, you could lose 80% of what you gained that day, and then you start over again. So remember, if we're going to heat your pool, let's talk about reducing the energy you're going to use by using other technology, which is now an improved means other than the blue bubble cover. Think about that.
All right, very good. So all of this stuff available through Tony Caruso at the great pool company. You're going to love it. And, if you've already got a pool, let him come out and see how you can run it more efficiently. If you've got a pool that you can't use because cracked, broken, foreclosed home, whatever, let him come out here and take care of it for you and get it back. The big green swamp, things like that.
You know what? The pool's
it really worked.
Hasn't lost a drop of water. It's been on for 2 weeks. Yeah, we had no rain, and people are going, well, the pool's, holding water. We don't have an autofill on it. I don't have an auto drain on it. Haven't put a hose in the pool. It's been 2 weeks. It's beautiful. Builder loves it. Let's call us up. We'll take care of your problems with your pool.
The Pool Fanatics, Tony Caruso, owner, Orlando Luxury Pools and TC Water Features. Stand by for the tops and news. What's going on out there in your world? You need to catch up.
Weekday morning.